Previously on Unsupervised. Ow! I just stabbed myself. No, that can't be right. I don't understand. Could this be more difficult? Oh no! Nothing's going right. Are you supposed to reuse cotter pins? No. Do I have more cotter pins? No. Uh-oh. How hard could it be, really? Well, I didn't break it yet. Is that a bolt missing? Maybe things are going in our direction today. The posi tap broke. What? Coffee's cold. What do you mean bar side view? It's all bar side view. Grip glue is a bad idea. Can I just beat it with a hammer? I feel like I can just beat it with a hammer. Are we sure I can't just hit it with a hammer? Ow! Screw you, instructions! I don't know what else to do. Sorry. It's 4th of July today. It won't be 4th of July when you see this video. Probably because I am very slow in DaVinci Resolve. However, I thought what would be a better way to celebrate 4th of July than to work on a Japanese motorcycle made in Thailand. We're not going to be as aggressive today as we were in the last video in the garage. We're only going to try to do a couple things. Hopefully it goes a lot better than it did last time, but that remains to be seen. This crate was $8-ish, about $8 at Costco. Now, in order to install that, I ended up buying a 12x8 sheet of steel, 26 gauge, which cost like $25 at Lowe's. So a $25 plate to go on an $8 box that's probably not going to be even permanent, but you know, whatever. So the first thing I've got to do is take this part off, and by part, I mean my little, whatever this is, net, I guess. I can tell this video is going fantastically already. Can't you tell? I can tell. So the net's off, that's great. So it's got 4 mounting, I guess, bungs or whatever. But in order to do that, we need to get an idea where it needs to go. So in order to get started here, I think we're gonna take this piece of cardboard that I had strategically saved and then ended up getting wet trying to wash the Ural. We have got to trace this out to get an idea of where our mounting points are. Where is my piece of metal? Okay, so that's there. This is super exciting stuff, folks. I'm telling you. Are you kidding me? Oh, come on. Well, it's not perfect, but it'll do. Okay, so now we'll just throw that there. So now that we have our basic template, we got to get an idea of where this is going to go. So I think this, oops. So I think this will go here. We want this to sit, I don't know, about here, I think. We don't want it right up against it. So if we put this here, okay. And this scars up really easy, so we're gonna have to be careful with that. It's already marred. Okay, so I'm gonna have to tape this down somehow, I think. Do I have tape? I might have tape. This is probably not the smartest idea, but whatever. Get it where we want it. That maybe? And then tape another one. Is that straight? It's close. Okay, so now what? Maybe this will work. So if I just stick a thing up here and poke through, that's one. Oh, I can't do it because that's in the way. Roughly. Well, let's do this. Let's take a couple bolts. Okay, that's one. Okay, that's two. And then if we untape they're about right there. Okay, so those are 4 holes that we need to make. Now, if we take this off and tape it to this, these holes, see? Can you see that? Can you see the holes? So the next step would be to punch them. I have no idea if any of this video is going to be usable. The punch has punched. So we are going to roll the dice here. We might catch cardboard on fire. Okay. Close enough for what we're trying to do. Moment of truth here, people. So close. Of course, that's the one I did at an angle. So close. So close. Alright, that ought to do it. That will work. Holes. So now it's just a matter of putting this in here. We're winging it now. Okay, so now we have holes in this, and those holes should line up with these holes. Now, what? So I gotta clean the paint out, but I don't have anything to clean the paint out with. These might actually be too long. Yeah, they're too long, but they'll do though. And that tap magic works real good, stripping the paint out. I don't know why it would, but it does. I have 2 tap and die sets. I don't feel like you need it. So now we'll test fit this for real. Where's the holes? Hole, hole, hole there. Okay, those are the holes. And then these holes go on those holes. It's so close. Okay, the problem is 3 of the holes are lined up great. 1 of the holes is not. So I need to do some reconfiguring. That should do it. I think that'll work. So now that we've got the holes in here, this is raw steel, so this needs to be painted. So I also picked up some all-in-one in matte pale sage. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's close enough. So we'll go ahead and hit this with mineral spirits and then rattle can it. So let's go over here. That's gonna look pretty terrible. Next thing we're gonna do, hopefully, let's get you in here closer. How about that? Hi. Hello. Okay. So funny story. Not so much funny as boring, maybe. But, so you may recall when I talked about these bark busters In the last garage video, I talked about how they sent me 11 instead of 1, and that's like $1,500 worth of bark busters that I emailed them. I was like, hey, you got too many. So Twisted Throttle said, yeah, we want them back, obviously, and they gave me a $25 store credit, which I thought was nice because they didn't have to do anything. So with that $25 store credit, I bought a new one of these ram ball mounts. So what we're going to do is hopefully put this together. So this goes here. It doesn't say it fits, but it doesn't, well, I guess it does say it doesn't fit, but we're going to see if we can use the same bolts that we have here, if it'll work. Probably not. It didn't work on the Goldwing, they were too short. And then the ones they come with are too long. Yeah, those are definitely too short. Well, that happened. So we're gonna have to put this back on temporarily. Okay, so I just made a mess. Okay, that didn't work. Hi, how was your day? My day is, I knew the bolts were going to be too big for that, but I didn't care and I did it anyway. So now we're going to have to do something about that. But in the meantime, we're going to do an oil change. We've got 143 miles on Booger so far. Pretty much all of that at full throttle. So we're going to drain the oil and see how it goes. Now the first time every time I change the oil in the Ural, it looks pretty bad, but it's still breaking in. This shouldn't be so bad. That is the oil drain plug. I think we need a bigger tool. Okay, let's try this again. The bike keeps moving. Okay, let's try this. There we go. Wow, that was on there tighter than it needed to be. I don't know if you can see the oil's draining, but it is draining. I don't have... Do I have more crush washers? I don't know. Let's go see. So I went and got my tote of Honda parts. Hey, look, crush washers. I don't know if they're the right one. Does it matter? I don't know, they're close. I don't know if this is the right one. Well, it's not the right one, I can tell. This is part number 94109-12,000. See? It seems to be a little bit thicker. But it's probably fine. I mean, what could go wrong? Would it be better just to reuse the same crush washer or use this other crush washer? I guess we'll see if it leaks. Okay. Oil is drained. Mostly. So the other thing I mentioned in some of my other videos is the oil filter, which is that. I think that's in focus. It's the same as the secondary transmission filter for the Goldwing, which you can't see, that's behind me. So we have a filter. We don't have a gasket. Are you seeing a theme here? Why is this my oil pan leaking? Well, my makeshift oil pan has a leak, but you can't see the oil. Maybe you can. Looks brand new, but it is a little leaky, so we're gonna have to address that here soon. I don't know what the torque specs are on these, but they're not very tight. They're not supposed to be very tight. Can you see? I don't know if you can see. I guess you can see. Yay! Now one of the other gaskets or O-rings probably works for this, but I really don't see the need to change the O-ring. Just go on one way. I probably should have paid attention. Got the spring. Don't lose that. That's important. It's a little bit easier on the Goodwing because it's on the bottom, it just falls out. This is highly educational content right here, folks. Oh no! I dropped it in the oil. I don't know, what do you think? It's a filter. It's fine, I guess. So let's just confirm it is the right filter. Towards engine. Yep, same filter. Okay, this goes. That goes in there. That goes there, don't drop it. This just goes here. Careful not to pinch because it will leak. I got oil all in the skid plate. I don't think that's ideal. I can't get in there to clean it out. I'll have to do something about that. Maybe I just take the... I just have to take the skid plate part off. Okay, next thing I gotta get rid of this oil because it's leaking all over my floor. Just got attacked by a bird. Oil get rid of. Mission accomplished. Let the adding oil commence. Now, according to the baby manual, it takes 0.9 quarts. And I have 1 quart of red line 10W30. Looks like that. With a sticker on it. This has gone up. I bought this when it was $17.99. I bought it for the Goldwing. And it is now like $23 a quart. Something crazy. But it's what I have, so it's what we're gonna use. So we gotta figure out 9/10 of a quart. We just happen to have a graduated cylinder, and we are going to take 94.5 milliliters out. Looks like 94.5, which means the rest can go in the engine. Now I did take this off once to check the oil level when I got it home, but it was really tight. There are reports that people are getting them and they're not full of oil like they're supposed to be. Now the question is, can I get this in here without a funnel? I think I can. Didn't spill. Now we can pour this back in here, and we didn't waste any, and we have exactly 0.9 quarts. There's not really much to that. Just this part right here, this tiny little bit, is what your hash marks are. I don't like the way Honda does it, where you gotta start it, let it run for 2 to 5 minutes, or warm it up and then shut it off and then check it in 2 to 5 minutes. It's dumb. Okay, well technically oil is in it now, but now I've got to take off the skid plate because there's oil on the skid plate. Why would they do it this way? I don't understand. You can't, the oil gets in the skid plate and then you can't get it out. Then you got to take the skid plate off if you don't want oil dripping everywhere. Now you're going to check for leaks if you got oil dripping from your skid plate. Whatever, Honda. Whatever. That was like an extra step for no reason. At least the skid plate comes off pretty easily. Can I get it back on though? Can you see me? I don't even know anymore. Might as well just take the skid plate off when you go to do the oil change, because you're going to have to do it anyway. Whenever you change the filter. The bolts are 5mm. In case you're wondering. Moment of truth. Now we wait 2 to 5 minutes. Check the oil. I have my diary of books of things. I didn't record all the stuff that we did last time, so I'll have to leave that blank. Has it been 2 minutes yet? I don't know. Let's see. Are you supposed to check it with the threads all the way in? Checking the engine oil. So you're not supposed to screw it in. So I think we got to make it idle longer. So it's 3 to 5 minutes. So that's what we'll do. Idle for 3 to 5 minutes, turn the engine off, wait for 2 to 3 minutes. It's on the center stand already. I don't even know why I'm checking it. I put exactly the amount of oil that it said to put in. Makes no sense. Every time I take it out, I'm losing some oil. It doesn't take that much. It's totally dry. Stick it in. Huh. So I did what it told me to do. Well, that's interesting. People are complaining that there's not enough oil in their bikes. And 0.9 quarts just isn't enough. How is that possible? So let's add another 20 mils, see what happens. Yeah, that's dry as a bone. Still not there. It's 24 mils, so this is 44 mils above 0.9 quarts. Still barely registering. Let's put the rest in. Let's run it for a few minutes and see what happens. Okay, so we have, I don't know if you can see this, but it's barely touching the hash marks. And we've put all but 19 milliliters from that quart. So we're just gonna put the rest of the quart in and we're gonna call it a day. So, the book says 0.9 when you change the filter, but it takes a whole quart. Unless I'm doing something wrong, which is entirely possible. Worst case scenario, I put 1/10 of a quart too much in there. I don't think that's gonna hurt the engine any. While we were dealing with all that, that is the steel plate that has now been painted. It's not perfect, but it doesn't need to be. The whole point of it was to just keep the metal from rusting. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna throw this on and get the basket on, and then we're gonna head to Ace and see if we can get a bolt for that ram mount. All right. Okay, so we're off to Ace to try to get a bolt so we can finish our project for the day. Hopefully they're open. Let's see why they wouldn't be. Hopefully don't we have any catastrophic engine failure on the way because the oil's wrong, but I don't think so. Hopefully we can get the bolt that we need to finish the jobs for the day. I think we should be able to.
Sit down.
Okay. I need metric.
You need help finding anything?
No, I'm just stumbling through my life. Well, I sure hope these are the right bolts, because they cost me $3.86 for 2 bolts. If they're not the right bolts, then, I mean, whatever. Come on, quad lock. Don't let me down. Okay, so $3.86 later, we're going to see if we got the bolts we need. Bike hasn't exploded yet. That's always good. Somebody recommended rock straps to hold that container down, and I think that's what I'm going to end up doing because it is still a little rattly with the net. Okay, well, we're back from the hardware store, and I hope these are right. Are these the wrong ones? I think they're the right ones. Okay, moment of truthfulness. So if this is right, it will fit. Dang it! Dropping stuff everywhere. Looking like we might have a winner. Was that so hard? Ta-da! That was way harder than it needed to be, folks. There we go. We got one of them thingies. I think today went better than the last time I was in the garage. Still not perfect. The oil thing is questionable, but what's the difference between 0.9 quarts and 1 quart? Nothing ever seems to go quickly, but you know, whatever. Don't forget to subscribe. When we hit the 500 mark, I am going to live stream eating one of those death chips. And when we hit 1,000, I'm going to try to ride this bike, Booger, 1,000 miles in 24 hours. So you don't want to miss that. Also, if you watch my previous video where we talk about a giveaway, it will very subtly tell you how to get some free stuff from me. So make sure you go back and watch that video if you haven't. If that's it, I think we're done. I'll see you later. This needs more blue Loctite.